All right, we got an article titled, "Do You Self-Sabotage? Here's How to Stop" by Danielle Hayden. Many of us have habits that are counterproductive, but there are steps you can take to recognize and overcome them. This is posted February 8th at 7 o'clock a.m., 2024. Many of us recall a time when we have self-sabotaged, behave in a way that runs counter to our interests, but some people do so repeatedly. People procrastinate, for instance, in filling tax returns, expense accounts, or other important paperwork. And others take on too many projects or cannot commit to their romantic partner. Self-sabotaging behaviors often lead to stagnancy, poor outcomes, and damaged relationships. But with awareness and conscious effort, it's possible to end the cycle of self-sabotage, experts say. An attempt to protect ourselves. Self-sabotage can be a product of many things, including low self-esteem, internalized beliefs, fear of change or the unknown, or an excessive need for control. But underneath those reasons is the human drive for self-preservation. We are wired to avoid threats and be motivated by rewards. Self-sabotage comes from an imbalance of our threat and reward drives. Quoted by Judy Ho, she continues by saying, "To protect ourselves from potential emotional and psychological stresses, we stop or stall moving forward in the way we really want." End quote. Procrastination, for instance, may not be because of laziness or irresponsibility. Research has shown that when a task is hard or less rewarding, we are more likely to avoid it. An example, Anna Peck, 57 years old, who was adopted as an infant, avoided looking for her birth family based on deep-rooted trauma of feeling unwanted. Peck finally met her birth mother 2 months after the mother had been diagnosed with frontal lobe dementia. They enjoyed less than 3 years together before the mother died. Quote, "I was able to get to know her in some of my story," Peck of White Bear Lake men said. "But not as much as I could have learned had I not sabotaged the idea of finding my family." End quote. Damage caused by self-sabotage. Shruti Mulick, a licensed psychiatrist, has seen self-sabotage in her patients but also in herself. Mostly, she said, because of feelings of unworthiness and a fear of success. Mulick once delayed applying for her full medical license and another time delayed renewing it. Self-sabotage is not only detrimental to achieving the level of success or the result we want, but it can also harm our mental health. Quote, "It can cause self-deprecation and lower self-concept," end quote, which in turn makes it less likely that you will behave in ways to achieve what you want. Self-sabotage is also associated with heightened anxiety, an increased risk of depression and coping in unhealthy ways, such as using escapist strategies, including alcohol and drug use. How to prevent self-sabotaging behaviors. Many of us recognize that our self-sabotaging actions or inactions are harmful, yet still find it difficult to stop doing them. But there is hope. Treat your struggle with compassion. Many self-sabotaging behaviors may have helped you at one time, but they don't anymore. Treat yourself and your struggles with compassion. Our negative actions often have a positive side, said Ellen Langer, a professor of psychology at Harvard University. For example, a person considered gullible by others may view themselves as trusting and may find it difficult to change the negative behavior because they value the positive side of it, she said. Quote, "Everything people do, every behavior makes sense from the actor's perspective or else the actor wouldn't do it," Langer said, end quote. Notice helpful thought patterns. Quote, "Next time you notice a negative emotion or an action you wish you didn't do, Ask yourself, what was I thinking just before I noticed this feeling or action? Ho said. Once you notice your thought patterns, you can work to question, modify, or change your relationship with them. End quote. Label your negative thoughts. Challenge self-sabotaging behaviors. Take responsibility. We need to recognize the role we play in our lives. We have to be open to the idea that sometimes we make mistakes. I think that's a prerequisite to understanding one's self-sabotage. And some of us struggle to acknowledge and take ownership in any way of our own actions. To change, identify what you want instead of what you think you want and then move forward. This is not easy. You need to find the motivation to make change in your life, and change is very hard. Start small and build on it. Be patient with yourself. Self-improvement takes time. And that is the end of the article. Now, I did jump over some quotes and I kind of paraphrased some of this stuff to make it much more easy to listen to. Now, since we're in now the opinion piece, this is just straight opinion. This is no longer the article. I resonate with this topic a lot. Sometimes for myself, when it comes to self-sabotage, I definitely resonate with that idea. I actually found out recently, Sigmund Freud called it the death drive. I think you guys should look that up if you're really interested in that. That's something that I do a lot. Sometimes I work really hard for things, but then right when I'm getting close to it, I just don't care about it anymore. So you're not alone if you feel like you're in this cycle of self-sabotage. Just give yourself some time, back away from whatever you're doing, the project that you're doing, and then come back to it when you have a fresh mindset, because it's been many times for myself. I can speak for myself. I tried to just push through something and I ended up making it worse than it could have been if I had a fresh mind. So yeah, that's the article. I feel that mental health is a big topic that definitely needs to be talked about, but there's not really many outlets. You hear people talk about it, but no one's talking about, I guess, solutions. And it's rising with, millennials, definitely Gen Z, and maybe even future gens. So hey, comment below, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one.